for Indian side, Modi prefers the bilateral meeting separately with Putin. Or any big progress has been made. So this is the problem. I don't know why.
Okay, Professor Lin, may I ask a question, which is what kind of breakthrough are you looking for?
Or how is the summit useful for this changing geopolitics of South Asia and India-China relationships, India relationship, two big countries?
There is an agreement that more flights will take place between India and China. Welcome to Janashakti Network. It's a privilege to have Professor Lin Minwang of the Fudan University. He's the Deputy Director of the Center for South Asian Studies, and he will be talking to us about the recently concluded summit at Tianjin, where the leaders of China, India, Russia, and 20 other countries were present for a meeting which has been variously described as having the power of a punch, because that provoked the American president to describe it as a great loss of India to China and Russia. So there has been an enormous impact out of the Tianjin summit, and so let me ask the question, therefore, which is that this for India and China in particular. This year is very, very significant. It is the 75th year of the relationship between these two countries. And both the Chinese and the Indian side have been talking about if the success of the Tianjin summit as a, a way of taking things forward in the relationship, which involves actually a mega market of the size of 2.8 billion people. So, having said that, how is this relationship now being described? One significant point is that there is an agreement that from here on, the idea is not turning the differences in the India-China relationship into disputes, and sort of describing what shall be the way forward as working as partners and not rivals, which has been very, very dramatically described as the dancing of the dragon and the elephant, and how making the right choices is important for the global governance initiative. So, having said that, my question to you, Professor Lin, is how do you see this actually going forward? Do you think that Tianjin was a defining moment in a shift in the India-China relationship?
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to join this dialogue. And actually, to be frank, I would say Tianjin Summit is not a turning point in China-Indian relations. Actually, but it's good for China-Indian relations. But why I say we should not say it's a turning point? Because we can see it's Modi's visit to China after 6 years, and but New Delhi actually has really carefully calibrate its approach towards normalization with China's relations. So you can see, to mitigate the sensitivities of his visit to Beijing or to Tianjin, Modi actually scheduled a visit to Japan. This is a kind of form of diplomatic hedging, and also for Chinese side, we can see Modi actually uh, has not joined the September 3 ceremony in Beijing. There are only two leaders which was absent from the September 3 ceremony in Beijing.
Mm.
So, and also one, you know, before his Tianjin visit, Russian side has put forward the trilateral meeting between President Xi, Modi, and Putin. But actually, it was the Indian side to refuse to have such kinds of trilateral summit. And for Indian side, Modi prefers the bilateral meeting separately with Putin and with Chinese President Xi Jinping. So that's why I say we can see the Tianjin summit is important for normalizations with China's relations. But actually, we can see Indians was still really careful about United States sense. So, we should not take it too much. So this is my assessment of this meeting.
So would it be, there is one view, of course, that India is uh, using the 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 change the changes that have been initiated, or the attempts to normalize the relationship with China, as a leverage in its negotiations with the United States, especially on tariffs. Would you agree with that?
Personally, I agree with this point. But and at the same time, I would say actually we have to see the normalization with China actually have to has begun last year
Yeah.
when Modi took his third after the election. Modi actually has adjusted its foreign relation with Moscow and also with Beijing. So I think it's not a beginning at this year. It's a beginning at the last year, and this year I think because of United States factors, China-Indian relations has been accelerated its normalizations process.
Okay. Ishita?
Yes, I would ask you that we have to look beyond borders, because every border in the world is a contested border. However, looking at India and China's Sino Indian relationship is important as far as the South Asia is concerned. Two big countries. So, I mean, big countries in terms of the market, as well as their influence. Though India's share of world trade and China's share of world trade cannot be compared, but however, the changing geopolitics in the world um, is looking at now South Asia. How far do you think that this is addressed in the Tianjin summit in terms of Sino-Indian relations is a part of this changing geopolitics. So it's a part of this. So how far can the summit send a signal to the world in terms of the geopolitics, changing geopolitics of South Asia? How would you look at it?
Mhm.
Yes, Professor Lim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you
So,
respond to the question?
could you respond to this question that how is the summit uh, is responding, or how is the summit useful for this changing geopolitics of South Asia and India China relationships, India relationship, two big countries in South Asia having a large market? So, how would you look at the signal from this Tianjin summit?
Yes, I think it's for the Tianjin summit between President Xi and Modi actually uh, signal a really strong signal to the world, to South Asia countries. These two big countries actually has to try to improve their bilateral relations and try to mitigate the bad effects between two sides. So we can see in many aspects, such as visa problems, such as the direct flights, Indian side has been showing its willingness to improve it and try to how can I say but actually I would say very frankly in Chinese side we are not so satisfied with the progress. You know, I've been discussing many times with the Indian side. You know, for China, South Korean, you know, we have in the last several years, we have something happened. Actually, in a high level, in a political levels, we don't have a really sound political relations, but we have a really sound people-to-people relations. You can see in Shanghai, we can take the direct flight from Shanghai to South Korea. Every half an hour, so they have a flight. Even in the late night, they have a direct flight from Shanghai to the South Korea. So the problem is we have do not have a sound political geopolitical relation with Indian side, but at the same time, the Indian government actually try to ban the people-to-people relations, people-to-people exchange. That's the problem. So I think we now it seems that Modi government want to uh, change its way to dealing with China, but we actually was not really satisfied with the progress because we have a discussing is, but it's almost 1 years, but no any big progress has been made. So this is the problem. I don't know why.
Okay, Professor Lin,
Yes,
may I ask a question, which is what kind of breakthrough are you looking for? What kind of
Mhm.
breakthrough,
yes.
not you looking for, but what kind of breakthrough would uh, be convincing as as a gesture of goodwill on India's side?
Yeah.
I would add
It's,
Shikha's
mhm.
question. I would just add, do you feel that there is a presence of an ice which needs to be melted? Is there an ice in the relationship?
Yes,
I mean,
the ice. Yeah, thank you. The ice is beginning to melt it, but what I say is actually we have a high expectation, but actually we only have some limited results. So that's the problem. And you know, we want to Indian side can make a bigger decision and can make a bigger progress. You see, there's really difficult, especially as a scholar. It's really difficult for me to visit Indian. I've been not visit Indian for almost 6 years. The last time I visit India was in 2019, before the COVID-19. If I want to have join the international conference in Delhi, or in other city in India, when I apply for visa, it's not a happy process for Chinese scholars. But you can see, in Fudan University, we have many students from South Asia and from India. And I supervise many PhD candidate, PhD students from India, from Bihar, from Haryana. They don't have any problem. Even during the COVID-19, they can go to the visa back to our campus. So so we hope Indians can be how can I say, if you really want to normalize relation with Chinese side, I think you should begin with people to people's relations.
I agree here because he is talking about the university students, and here in conferences, in there are many South Asian conferences hosted in India, and Chinese professors, scholars from China, they are coming, joining. Now, there is also rise in the interest in students researching on China studies. We have some China studies department in India as well, and I am really grateful that you mentioned that people to people relationship. Yes, it's not always the strategic, it's not always the state to state, but what matters is the people to people relationship. Yes, that's, thank you for mentioning it also. Yes.
Well, the state first has to ease up the ways in which people to people contacts can be made. And I think that one outcome of the Tianjin summit uh, has been an agreement that the issuing visas will be facilitated. Now, Professor Lin, you have a very good point that we have to wait and see how far this facilitation eases the conversation amongst people who influence and are observers of how policy is being shaped, people like you. And then there is the Mansarovar Yatra, which has just been started. And then there is an agreement that more flights will take place between India and China. We are all waiting to see how it actually works out on the ground. I think that at this point in time, would you say that uh, we have something on paper, but it hasn't yet uh, been reflected in the actions that are being taken on either side, for that matter?
Yes, actually, we are waiting for such a long time. And but now, after the Tianjin summit, after the Tianjin meeting between two leaders, they have some small change, especially in social levels. They have some kinds of positive atmospheres between the common peoples. When people talking about the India and talking about China-Indian relations, we have really a positive expectation. And many and also some of my friends, they have a really good expectation. They say, oh, India has been now have tried to change its visa policies. Maybe we can plan for tourists at the end of this year or something like that. So I would say actually there are many Chinese people. They have really have a positive expectation for China-Indians relations. Yeah.
I think we need to sort of also look at one of the things that happened in Tianjin, which is the talk of the global governance initiative, and and the various other issues that flow from that, and there has been a lot of conversation worldwide, not all of it in India, that the the potential of the proposal of a proposed bank, of proposed uh, of a proposed mechanism for local currency transactions. All of this is going to have a wide ranging impact on the way in which the existing world order manages its money. What is your view of that?
You know, in the global governance, now actually we have many deficits in the global governance, right? Uh, Democratic deficit, the security deficit, the development deficit. And I think for Chinese government and for after President Xi took office, China was really active, tried to provide some kind of global goods, public goods, global public goods, and regional public goods. And we want to have share China's experience, China's development experience, and also we want to play a big role in the regional development. So that's why China has been set up the AIIB, which India was also a really important partners, and also the BRI initiative. And now in the Tianjin Summit, President Xi has been put a new initiative, right? Just as you has been mentioned, global governance initiative, the new ideas. And also, China has been mentioned, want to have Shanghai organizations developing bank. This is idea China has been put forward. I think it's 20 years ago. China has been put forward. But some of the big countries in this region has been always see Central Asia as its own backyard. You want to see China can play some leading role in economic development. But the situation has been changed. Now, all the countries, the common peoples, even the elite, they want to have a better line. They want to have a good economic development. They welcome to see China can play a bigger role in the region's economic development. So that's what I have been see in Tianjin.
Shita?
Yes, here I would like you to address further the issue of looking at the bank as again a signal to give to the unipolar world kind of thing that US has been trying to push us into, the World Bank, which is failing, and the policies are failing. We are living within these failed policies. So, is this bank going, is indicating a multipolar world? Will the countries be forming a concord of this kind of financial association to this multipolarity? Multipolarity in financial transactions was something which was not there in that sense. Although we are focusing on bilateral part, but bilateral is a part of in this multipolar world of interconnected relationships. So, how do you look at this interconnected relationships in the context of this bank regarding finance?
Uh, Actually, I was not expert on the economy issues, but I think connectivity is really important. And according to Chinese own development experience, especially at the beginning of the open and the reforms periods, and China has been doing many work on the connectivity within our own countries, and let us pay a really solid foundation for the rapid economy developing, especially after China joined WTO in 2001. So in Chinese saving, we have a saving. If you want to get rich, first you have to build roads. Build roads around the country, around your village, around the all the countries, all the cities. So this is important. Yeah.
Yes, I would also try to focus on the currency that has been floated, the idea of a currency. And there is a word going on around the world regarding de-dollarization. So, is this going to help the de-dollarization movement, or the call for de-dollarization is the new currency?
Yes, I see. There's some discussion about the dollars process. I think within BRIC, they have some discussion about how we can manage the dollar's hegemony. And you can see, especially in recent years, the United States have been trying to use the dollar's dominant position to how can I say actually was not good for China's long development, and also it will be harmful to many BRIC countries' long-term economic development. And you see, United States have been always playing using the the hegemony as a leverage to bargaining with China, bargaining with Russia. So I think it's quite natural and logical to see more and more countries want to see we will have the another monies like dollars. We can have another choice, another options. So that's why we can see there are many discussion about the uh, global the currencies governance. We can have more choice, and also I think India also have some kind of the, the, the the discussion. I say I see many news from Indian media, but
Yes.
for Modi government actually, yeah, especially the foreign minister Jashankar has been said India did not have any interest in discussing about the dollars, and but I think in the long term, New Delhi will find it's logical, it's good for India. Yeah, we can put forward the dollar process. Thank you.
Now, there is also another question regarding the
Mm.
choice of the Tianjin as the site of the summit, because this is also giving a signal, as Tianjin was a colony, British colony. So instead of
Mhm.
having the summit in Shanghai or Beijing, where we expect it to happen, it is happening in Tianjin. It happened. So how would you put at it? How would you put it? Because uh, it shares
I
legacy similar to India.
No, no, no. I think it's quite natural to choose the Tianjin as a place for the SCO summit. My family has been living in Tianjin for 5 years, and I was really familiar with that city. You know, why Tianjin has been chosen as the SCO summit place because it's so close to Beijing. So after all the leaders they finish their SCO summit and then they can easily travel into Beijing. It's only half an hours in a high speed railway. You know, when I was working in Beijing, I lived in Tianjin. So every morning I take the high speed railway to go to Beijing to work. So I don't think they have any. And also you know in China there are many big city. They want to have its international presence in the world. They want to see they are big international cities. So now there are also some of the competition between China's big city. They want to hold the international, the global activity, the global meeting, which will be held in such a city. So you see, Hangzhou in 2016, they held the G20 summit, and
Yes.
also in 2018 in Xiamen City. Many big cities in China, so they have really they have some kind of competition. They want to have the important international events. So I don't see why someone talking about why we choose Tianjin. I think it's quite common because it's so nearby Beijing.
But
Yeah.
Professor, Tianjin wowed the world with the kind of AI, the robotics that we saw, the robots in Tianjin
Uh-huh.
during the summit. That wowed the world. I mean, we were all stunned by the kind of sophisticated
Yes. Right.
Oh,
AI.
and I
Because
think. Yeah.
AI, because there has been much discussion in the world as well as in India that AI is
Uh-huh.
going to change the whole life, and AI is taking away.
Manufacturing and economics,
Yes,
certainly.
manufacturing. Yes, and India has
Oh,
AI hasn't really come. So this learning from the summit will definitely make new changes. What kind of learning it offers, because it was fantastic. What we saw
oh.
in the videos, it's fantastic. The way the robotics worked.
No.
So
I think it's quite common in China. So even I joined the China South Asians Expo this year. There are also some of exhibition of robots and the AI in Kunming. So every time I see in the bigger international events, there are some kinds of the exhibition of robots and of AI in every city I see in China. It's not only in Tianjin. And if you come to Shanghai or come to Hangzhou,
oh
I see
no.
definitely you will see a much bigger picture. You will see how the AI has been developed in the last several years. Yeah.
So the
So
question that I need to ask, Ishita, just let me quickly add one question here.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
Mhm.
which is that,
I'm just
that
adding that. Yeah,
sorry.
you go on. Yes, sorry.
Okay.
You go
Okay.
on.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, so, so basically, there has been a conversation over the last few years about how India could be a counterweight to China's manufacturing dominance. And then you realize when you're looking at robotics or you're looking at AI, India, there is no way in which India can even begin to catch up with what China has achieved now. And China is going forward. So
Mhm.
there is how do you see the space for an India-China relationship being built where there is obvious, very obvious uh, asymmetry in
Mhm.
technology, in even institutional maturity, financial and other institutions.
Mhm.
There are problems. There are very serious problems. And how do you see this? How do you see this evolving as we go forward? If one thinks of Tianjin as a kind of beginning of where the ice begins to melt, how do you see this going forward? Because it has to be in terms of what works on the
Mm.
ground and how the relationship evolves.
Okay.
I would
Um.
add another
Yes.
layer. I would just add another layer. That is, if we are going back to people relationship, the technology adoption asymmetry is also affecting people's perception about India's AI, people's perception about Chinese AI. So, how is this going to affect the people to people relationship? I think this is the layer that I'm
Mhm.
going to.
Okay. Thank you for your question. And I think, I've been living in New Delhi for almost 1 year, and I have been always try to compare Indians' economic development and also Chinese situations. Actually, to be a scholar, as a professor, I would say actually there is no any China the dragon and the elephant competition or some kind. Any kinds of narrative like this. This is a narrative which has been created by by Western media, and they want to see more competition between China and India. So that's why when they talking about the competition between China and India, and how India can shape China's manufacture dominance in the world. And if you see the data, see how China manufacture dominant in the world, China's position, you can see it's really difficult for Indian side to catch up. So to be frank, I always say Indian will not catch up in manufacturers, and Indian will be maybe in other aspects as a dominant, enjoy some kind of dominant position in other aspects, but in manufacturers aspect, I think it's really difficult. If Western try to use India to shape China's dominant position, and also, just now, as you mentioned, AI and other technology aspects, I would always like, you know, uh, even I was not an expert on this uh, uh, aspect, I would say there are a huge gap between China and India, especially in AI, in the global technology. You think now China actually was in a, in the number one levels in the world, but the Indian I see is only in the second levels or third levels in the world. So So we have some kind of the how we can cooperate, how you can use you advantage, you knowledge, and how China can use its. So we have to find a way how we can cooperate, but not the competition, you know. So we have so many narrative about the geopolitical competition between the dragon and the elephants. It's the right, it's the long way, and it's the long narrative, I think.
I
So,
would
Okay.
agree here. I would agree here with the idea of cooperation which you mentioned. It's when we talk about relationship between the strategic relationships, it's not always competition that we talk about. We also include the cooperation. Will you please explore more and present to us more the areas of Sino Indian cooperation in the world in South
Mhm.
Asia? Yes, Shikha, you were adding something.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually asking the same question. How do you see the strategic? How do you see the strategic relationship in working itself out? Given that India in the last 10 to 15 years almost, or more actually, in the last 20 years has significantly shifted,
You know,
tilted.
yeah, you know, so Chinese company actually was have a really great interest in Indian markets. So that's why you can see before COVID-19, there are many bigger Chinese company has been invested in India. You know, the Xiaomi's, the Vivos, and also the BRD's, and many Chinese famous company has been greatly invested in Indian markets. But after the COVID-19, the 2020s, there are many Modi government actually has many restriction for Chinese company developing in Indian markets. Now you can see there are many Chinese company they have been moved their business out of India. So Huawei, you can see Huawei had been invested in Indian market maybe in 1998. I remember. Now he had been moved his headquarters to Dhaka. Why? I think it's geopolitics, and also there are some kind of misunderstanding in the Indian political elite. They have been always see China's I can say Chinese money is better money. Chinese technology is not the advanced technology, and they have some security concerns or something like that. So that's the bigger problem for China Indian to cooperate, and also especially for the business circles. You know, I've been consulted by many Chinese bigger company in the last several years, but in the past 3 years, you can see there actually no any bigger Chinese company try to consult with me. How about the Indian markets? They have lost their interest to invest in India. So this is a bigger problem. How Indian side can make a Chinese company have some confidence to back to Indian markets, and before COVID-19, the investment volume, the money value, I see is really high, but now the situation has been totally changed. So it's really difficult to make people have the enough confidence for they have a long investment strategy in India. Yeah.
So,
So it
wh-
sounds
where do
pessimistic
you think?
regarding investments.
Okay.
Regarding investments, it sounds pessimistic.
Yeah.
investments. So not
Okay.
positive on investments, you said.
Yes, yes, and it's not only the investment. Generally for the business circles, they don't have confidence to do any business in Indian markets. That's the problem. So when you're talking about cooperation, no problem. We can find many space for our mutual cooperation. But the long problem is how we can have a long-term cooperation. So we can have the habits of cooperation, not have habits of competition or the discussing insecurity, something like that. So the dominant narrative, the dominant thinking about Chinese company, Chinese technology, maybe have to change.
So, do you think that the Tianjin summit had signaled a shift in the uh, in India's thinking position? How would overtures to China to bring about
Mhm.
a change in the way to bring about a break from the past and a change going forward. Do you think that that is what happened in Tianjin?
And I don't think the Indian government has been totally changed its mind. Actually, now the policy is, it seems that for Chinese side, for me, I got the impression that the Indian government try to manage its relation with China's, but the top priority for Modi government is to try to have a sound relation with the United States. Uh, the, so the top priority is not have a normal relation with China or with Russia. So that's why I say if sometimes the Donald Trump of the United States have changed his mind and also will not give any the tax the punishment on Indian side and leave the punishment some kind of Modi government will change it, will slow the process to normalize relation with China. So that's a problem. And also I can see within the Modi government, actually there's no consensus to have a normal relation with China. Uh, Modi have always have a really positive uh, opinion about India's relation with China. He has been give many interview in international media. He has been talking positive about Indian relation with China. But for the cabinet minister, some minister do not have a really positive expectation in China-Indian relations, and also we can see some of the ministers who not willing to see Indian can have a normal relation, has a sounder relation with China. That's the problem. You don't have the common consensus within your government. Yeah.
So, are you what you are saying, and that is how, if you look at the recent, if you look at recent Indian diplomacy and concerns and their engagements, you see them participating in a large number of uh, smaller multilateral organizations,
Hmm.
which which are focused on um, furthering India's ties with the West as well as with America. If you look at the Quad, if you look at various other initiatives, I mean, the way in which it is being It has moved
Mhm.
itself to be a participant in the Pacific Rim conversations. It suggests that those initiatives, those conversations, certainly
Mhm.
do not suggest that it's going to be easy to normalize relationships. Forget about arriving at consensus. What is your view?
Uh, uh, Sorry, I didn't catch your questions, but
You
I
know,
think
the way in which India has enthusiastically joined
mhm.
various alliances, which have been strengthened, created, made more active as a pushback against China and China's geostrategic uh, expansion, as it were, seen from the Western perspective. How do you see India normalizing its relationship when there is a doubt about uh, how committed Modi is to improving relationships with China?
uh, you know, uh, China do not have the positive evaluation about the Indo-Pacific, and actually we have been always seeing the Quad as a strategy to contentment to content China. So that's why uh, China and Russia has been trying to persuade the India. You should not join join a Quad. You should not join Indo-Pacific, and but India have a different choice, and in the last 10 years, actually, India has been deeply integrated with U.S. and alliance network, and especially in a military aspect, they have many deeper cooperation. So let's that's the problem, and. For Chinese side, we have some concerns. Of course, we have some concerns. We are not willing to see India has been deeply involved in U.S. Contentment policy towards China. So at the same time, you can see in BRIC, in SCO, uh, the activities, Indian government actually was not so active. And in 2023, there is a SCO summit planned to have in Delhi. But I was being told that Russia's and the Chinese president, they all like to pay a visit to New Delhi to have a summit in New Delhi. But finally, Indian side actually play the G20 summit as the priorities. So. This is the perception for our Chinese scholar. Indian was play its uh, relation. The priority was being Indian's relation with U.S. alliance with U.S. It's not with BRIC and SCO. Uh, but I think Modi has been trying to be now try to be uh, regain the strategic autonomy and want to have much more option in its foreign relation with big countries. So the situation maybe has been changed, but to what extent I don't know, and I'm not sure how far can Modi government make.
So
Yes.
this is how what is the window for the Modi government? What is the time window for the Modi government to demonstrate that it is sincere about what it says in terms of strategic autonomy, about being partners and not rivals, about any of the nice things that were said in Tianjin. What is your assessment? What is the time window?
I
What
don't
is the
know.
next?
Actually, I don't know what's the Windows opportunity, but I guess uh, Indian can show some your positive measures, positive progress, because we have been has not with the Indian for a long time. Yeah,
So one thing would be to to give you a visa to come back to India to visit.
yeah. Make the visa more easy for us. Yeah.
In fact, India needs that. We, what would be your assessment of looking at this 22 states who have joined SCO, SCO BRICS coming up in future as forces, which would also have its effect on Sino-Indian relationship? And what is the expectation out of these? India participating in BRICS, India participating in SCO, also India participating in many other, it has been referred to many other kinds of multilateral negotiations. Yes, India has suffered from Indo-US relationship. India has suffered regarding the tariffs. I know that regarding China and other countries, the tariffs were reduced, but in India it was increased. So India suffered. So this suffering has also forced India to look differently. How far is BRICS and SCO becoming more powerful in future? What is your assessment?
Uh, the SCO has expanded membership to many countries, and now we have more and more partners. And you can see Indonesia and some of the big regional power actually has really positive perception of CO, and now they have play a really big role in SCO. Just I mentioned, you can see Indonesia, right? So I'm positive about the future of CO, and even they have some different perception how SCO should be developed in the futures. They have some disagreement within the members, but I think it's another a bigger question. They have been always been have a disagreement about how SEO should develop. You know why they're important? Because it's not for what SEO can do. It's because SEO is the platform for all the neighboring countries can sit down and can improve their friendship and can talking about some the problem within in this region and also in the global levels. So you can see in the last several times because of the SCO summit. So the leaders they should meet in some cities. So to improve, to if you don't have a sound relations, which will be really difficult for leader to meet in a SCO summit. So we can see in the last in Qingdao summit, I remember when Pakistan Indians have some short conflict. But the two prime minister from India and Pakistan, when they met in Qingdao, they have to talking to each other. They have to be have some friend, how can I say, show some friendly gesture towards each other. That will be good for the two countries, right? So SEO is really a good platform for for all the neighboring countries. So so that's why we should play we should play more importance to SCO's development, especially in Asia.
Professor Lin, that is a very controversial statement that you made there
I know.
about about India and Pakistan talking at an SCO event. Now
Yeah.
that is a very controversial statement that you made, especially as it comes after the statement in Tianjin about Pahalgam and terrorism and the shared
Yes,
concern.
yes.
Mhm.
So um,
Anti-terror, anti-terrorist statement in
yeah,
SCO. So
so it's
after
it's
that,
it's it's very interesting. In other words, um, SCO is the emerging platform for resolving regional and the greater regions conflicts, problems,
Mhm.
whatever is keeping the relationship from being good. Uh, this is my last question to you. I'm not going to ask another question after that, which is that here is how you envisage SCO evolving over time. And then you have India, which has announced its vision of being the Vishwa Guru, the leader of the world. How do you see these two ambitions or these two goals working together? Is that possible at all?
Um, I think you should not have too high expectation for what SEO can do. And so just now I've been mentioned SEO is it's only a platform which will have some effect which can mitigate the disagreement between members, can mitigate the conflict between the members, because all the members, when you join the SCO, you have a signed agreement, right? The agreement says you should not bring the bilateral conflict into the multi-levels uh, platform of SCO. So this is the requirement for all the country, right? So even China, India, we have in the last several years we have some a problem in a border area, but uh, in a SCO platform, you should never China India should not bring these bilateral issues to this platform. So different people have a different evaluation about the future of SEO. But personally, I think you can see if you follow how SEO has been developed, I think you definitely have a more positive evaluation of its future development. Right?
Ishita, do you want to ask another question?
yes, one last question. So till now, it is giving a signal. SEO is acting as a signal to the world, and this is not going beyond Sino-Indian relationship. And Sino-Indian relationship is something which the world is eyeing at in terms of strategic, in terms of economic, in terms of the geopolitics. I'm ending with that. This is my last question. So, one last word from you. How far, how strong do you think is the signal effect, signaling effect of SEO?
Um, you know, this time the Tianjin Summit is really a big event for SEO development, because that is Chinese government And even I would say President Xi has been play the SCO as a priority for Chinese foreign relation for Chinese diplomats. So there have been a lot of the energy has been put it in SCO's Tianjin Summit. We have been put many diplomat resources in SCO Summit. Uh, why? Because China has a special perception of CO because it's the number one and also the only one international organization which has been named by a Chinese city, Shanghai, right? So China have a really strong have some really strong sense and have a really want to see SCO can be successful in manage the relation in our neighbors. We can have a sound political relations, security relations. We can make SCO play a leading role in a region economy development. So that's why in this year the SCO summit has been invited all the partners, all the members, leaders to join. And we can see the results actually have make really a good results. And many documents have been published, right? We have a plan for the next stage for the SCO. And also they publish the Tianjin declarations. And I read the declaration carefully. Actually, they have been show some kind of the common position with the SCO, right? So, but the problem is now we have more and more the members. We have more and more partners, and for this partner, they have different priority. They have a different perception about China, about the China United States competitions. So they have some difficult. But I personally would say China has been always the strong, strong who have a really strong supporters for SCO development. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Lin, for participating in our
Thank you.
Thank you.
conversation.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest incidents. Hit the bell icon to never miss an update. We will see you next time with more news that matters. Stay informed, stay safe.